Welcome to this tutorial. In this video, I'll be calculating break-even point. Now, I found one exciting paper from the University of Lusaka, UNILAS, and I would wish to share how this question can be answered. All right. So it's a very exciting question because it had a key somewhere. Looks like the examiner had locked it somewhere, and if students are not careful, they might end up not finding the proper solution to this question. The question reads: calculate the break-even point for a 500 ml bottle of water given the total fixed cost of 300 per unit, or per annum, sorry, and the variable cost per unit of 3/4 50 grade, and contribution to sales ratio of 30%. So they're asking us to calculate the break-even point. The standard formula that we usually use to calculate the break-even point is BEP is equal to fixed cost over contribution per unit. And contribution per unit is basically calculated by simply saying selling price minus variable cost per unit. Okay. Now, if you look at here, the selling price hasn't been given. So that's where the key is. So we cannot easily calculate the contribution per unit. But we use the percentage of contribution to sales ratio to calculate what the selling price could have been and what the contribution could have been, and straight away we can get out of it and earn our marks. Now, since contribution is calculated by simply saying selling price minus variable cost, I'll use that standard, and the contribution to sales ratio is a 30% of sales, which simply indicates that sales is actually at 100%. So I've just created this table to help us understand how the question unlocks. So 100% is sales, since the contribution to sales ratio is 30%. So it simply means that contribution is 30% of the sales or the selling price. Okay. Now, do we have the selling price? We don't know. So I shall indicate that as X. And then I'll come here. I need to remove the variable cost for me to reach at contribution. And then I've been told to say the percentage contribution is 30%. So where there's contribution there, I shall put 30% there. Okay. Now I can tell what the variable cost percentage would have been, because the selling price is split into percentages: contribution percent and variable cost percent. Okay. So now if contribution is the 30%, it simply indicates that variable cost is 70%, so that when we add the two, they give us the selling price percentage, which is 100%. So the variable cost in this case with 70%, and the examiner has given us what the variable cost is per unit, which is 3/4 50 grade, so 3.5 there I put, and then I just don't know what the contribution is. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So now I have got this scenario, and then from here I can we can actually intelligently calculate the contribution per unit by cross multiplying. So if we are cross multiplying, we are going to pick the pairs which are complete. And the pair which is complete, what I mean is it has both the percentage and the value that side. Selling price is not complete, it's 100% by X, we don't know what it is. Variable cost is complete, it's 70%, and the 3/4 15 has given in the exam question. The contribution per unit is not complete, it's 30% to Y. So I'll pick the complete pair, which is 70 is equal to 3.5, 0 there. And then what I'm looking for, my main interest is contribution, and contribution as the percentage of 30, but we just don't know the contribution itself. So it's indicated as Y. Let me do this a bit. Yeah, so it's indicated as Y. So in that manner, the best I can do is to cross multiply so that I can get what my Y is, and then from there we can proceed. So if I'm cross multiplying, this shall be 70 multiplied by Y there. Okay. And then we shall have 30 multiplied by 3.5, something like that. And then from there we can headways. So 70 multiplied by y will be 70y, and then 30 multiplied by 3.5, 30 multiplied by 3.5 is giving me 105. So I have that. To solve for y, I'll divide both sides by 70 so that I can eliminate that 70. So I'll divide that side where there is y. 70 by 70, 70 is gone, only y remains. And then this side will be 105 divided by 70, like that. Okay, and then we have 1.5. So what does this entail? It simply means that our contribution is actually, our contribution per unit, which is the y, is 1.5. Now from here, we can make headways. You've seen the question is asking for break-even point, and the fixed cost will be given. So from here, I can quickly proceed to calculate the BEP. So break-even point is given by fixed cost, which is 300 there, over contribution per unit, which is 1.5, which we just calculated there. So now I can say 300,000 divided by 1.5 gives me a 200 units. So for the company to break even, they need to sell 200 units or 500 milliliter of bottle water. Okay, that's the break-even point. And then the last question from the same exam was to compute if the company targets to make a profit of 150,000 in 2022. How many 500 bottles should the company manufacture and sell for them to make a target profit of 150,000? So the formula for that one, units required to meet a target profit, is basically fixed cost plus target profit over contribution per unit. So the target profit has been given, it's right in the question, the 150, which was mentioned here. And then the fixed costs are there, which is 300, and the contribution, we just calculated it. It had a key. Yeah, it needed to be unlocked intelligently, otherwise we might end up losing the marks for this question. Okay, so there we go. Fixed cost, which is 300 there, plus 150,000 divided by contribution per unit. This is the formula for the units which are required to meet a target profit. Processing this on the calculator, I obtained 300,000 units. So this is how the 10 marks should have been grabbed. The first 8, where he's asking you to calculate just a BEP, because he gave it 8 marks because he knew to say there was a key here, and something was blocked, which required your intellectual capabilities to unlock it. And then the 2 marks were given for the units required to the target profit. So that's how you should have obtained the 10 marks in the exams. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. For more videos, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel.